Welcome to the 215th broadcast of the T-ROH show. It's your host, Keith. I got Chris with me. He's tagging along for a while.
Hello, everybody.
Um, okay, we've got a couple of things to start with, and there's going to be some complicated stuff that we're going to go through. So just bear with us. This is going to be difficult for some people to get, some not. I don't know, but we'll see. All right. First of all, I wanted to mention that, man, we have grown so much. It's unbelievable. We are overwhelmed with the amount of people that are coming through, and assemblies are starting to pop up. Real ones. We're talking about real ones, folks. The ones where you have an actual social compact and everything is published correctly, and people have taken control of their person, and all these things that were necessary to reverse what happened to you. Have been done, and then they're putting together their constitutions and things like that. So it's really working out well, and they're coming in. I mean, through like crazy. It's been. I don't want to do numbers because we're not supposed to number people. They're not our people to number. So basically, there's been a lot. That's all I can tell you. And it's been very productive. Let's put it that way. So, anyways, moving on. A lot of people open up accounts at the bank. They're looking at some alternatives here because of what's happening in the markets. So, might want to watch out for that. That the continental dollar may be on the rise. We'll see. So, I wanted to go over one thing. This is going to be a kind of hard. I guess noticed that other people were having some issues with this, didn't understand what was going on. So let's go through it. If you go into the preamble, okay, of the Constitution of the United States, it says a specific thing in there that people don't realize. Okay, it's literally in their preamble. It says here, "We the people of the United States." Now that's a separate entity there. In order to form a more perfect union, establish justice to ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings and liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. So these were two completely separate entities. And notice that it states is to form a more perfect union, not a country. Let's talk about a union. Okay, so people that keep asking and now union means business. All right, we're talking about a marketplace. So right after that, they turned the union to a lowercase u. That's basically what happened. So these people of the United States are not the people of the United States of America. Okay, so in the union, in their level, or that level would be from the states, between the states and the United States. However, here's the issue. Let's go back to this here. The contract, okay? Now, motions were heard today within the National Assembly for the government of the United States of America for the purpose of restoring the contract by and between the United States and the United States of America. Now, that's this right here, completely separate entity, basically stated over here in the preamble. When the gold and silver was outlawed by the bankers of the Federal Reserve Bank, Executive Order 6102 is an executive order signed on April 5th, 1933. Okay? Now, by U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, not a president of the United States, two separate things. A U.S. president never existed. The contract was severed by and between the United States and the United States of America by a group of Moloch and Baphomet worshippers in social compact established on Jekyll Island in 1904. So these guys came in. They noticed that after the Civil War, there wasn't a social compact. Those had all kind of disappeared. So they thought, well, hey, we'll go ahead and just do a social compact, and then we'll come in and take over, and we have to sever the tie or the contract between the United States and the United States of America. They had to break up the union. The only way to do that is give the illusion that gold and silver was outlawed by the bankers. So everything's an illusion that people don't, realize what they've been living in. Okay, so the government of the United States of America recorded the Constitution of the United States of America on 1/25/2016 and placed it into evidence as part of the claim that the Constitution was never properly ratified by the people in 1789 and therefore was not any form of a national government. So if you look at this, it doesn't claim, let me know if it's not switching. Okay, I'm back over to the Constitution of the United States, Chris.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, so if you look back at this, it never was a national government because it was there to form a more perfect union, not a government or a country. People just need to read that. I mean, it's just, it's not hard. So now it says the claim has been proven to be correct and enough time has passed that no one has ever published a proper objection to the claim. And therefore the claim is settled on 2/8/2021. All right. Now, what we did was, let me show you the document itself. I'll just show you the recording document. Okay. This is what we did. We took this, okay, and we said, here's the Constitution that's nobody's paying attention to, nobody's using, right? Their contract's severed. There's no actual union there, so we went ahead and did our thing. We recorded it within our government. We put some other documents in here, like the UDHR at the time. And this is American Declaration of the Rights of and Duties of Man. This is for the lawyers. The lawyers actually are subject to this. They don't want anybody to know that, but they are. They pass that for themselves. And this is the investigative report. And it deals with the obligations of the Charter of the Organization of American States. A lot of people haven't heard about that, so I'm not going to go into it on what that is. You're welcome to go look it up. And this was our claim, basically to state that, hey, you guys are messed up. There was an affidavit that we put together and the whole deal. All right. Just letting you know it's there and does exist. Now, this one here, this is the one I've always looked for. When we talked about it, which was enacted under Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution, formed in 1787. This is business started in 1787. And this is the corporate family here. Armed Forces Retirement Home, Arctic Office, Executive Office of the President, right here. That's the corporate family. And this is what we keep telling people, that it was a corporation. And it was created to run a union, a basic marketplace. The Arch-Treasurer of the Bank of Arch-Treasurer of England, which would be, I think it would be the king at the time, Prince Arch-Treasurer, king or prince, whatever the hell is, I can't remember what it was. It was in Treaty of Paris of 1783, right?
Right, correct.
Okay, so each one of these organizations here, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission and all that, these are all companies, and they always have been. Okay, so you got to realize how this whole thing operates, and they're there to run a union. Well, what they didn't do and they had to do this slowly, was slowly tear the Union apart. So they didn't establish a country. They didn't establish a national government. They didn't establish any government whatsoever. It was established to create what they call a more perfect union. And basically what they were saying was, we want our own union. They had the original union, which was a confederacy, which is a federal republic under the Articles of Confederation. And these guys wanted their own union. That's all it was. They wanted central bankers up at the on Manhattan Island and all that. So Manhattan Island became the stock market. They were pig farmers, and they were selling pieces and parts of the pig. And that's why you have a piggy bank, and that's why you have a Wall Street. It was to hide the crap smell from the pigs. That's why they did that. And that's how it operated. So what happened was they severed that tie. And that is where we came in to try to fix some things that needed fixing. So that was the link there that you were saying. However, the Constitution of the United States of America can be useful as a public and commercial marketplace, okay, that is recognized all over the world, governed by the gold and silver standard. It's not governed by that now because they violated and broke that union between the United States and the United States of America by getting rid of outlawing the gold and silver. When they did that, they severed that union, and now they wanted to put in a world union. That was what their idea was. And they've still been trying to push it through communism and world communism, okay? So as a public and commercial marketplace, it will serve to remove the Moloch and Baphomet worshippers' monopoly over a counterfeit public and commercial marketplace, thereby restoring trade and commerce back with the states of the Union without interference by a cult, okay, with a fake U.S. Congress, because there's no U.S. Congress. It's only a Congress of the United States. If you go back here, it says it right here, Congress of the United States. There is no U.S. Congress. And then they'll come back, well, they both mean the same. No, they don't both mean the same, okay? It doesn't mean the same. You have to have this entity here, specifically this entity. And we kept trying to tell people in the military, this entity. And they, well, it means both the same. No, it doesn't. And that's like having a pocket, one pocket buttoned and the other one not, okay? So it's either buttoned or it's not buttoned. Get it, U.S. military? Maybe you guys will be able to figure that out, all right? Since you just screwed over your own commander-in-chief. U.S. House of Representatives, no such entity. U.S. Senate, no such entity. And a fake office called a U.S. president, no such entity. These are all clear counterfeit offices, nowhere mentioned in the Constitution of the United States of America or the Constitution of the United States. They're all fake, which means you got a fake military. Okay? Doesn't exist. Now, the contract restoration is governed by gold and silver. So a silver certificate has been deposited into the Treasury of the United States, and therefore consideration has been restored within the contract. So when you have a contract, it's offer, acceptance, performance, consideration. Well, they just removed the consideration in that contract, okay? And then tried to replace it with fake offices and fake money so they could turn it into a new world order under a world communist regime. Okay? So by and between the two aforementioned parties, the United States and the United States of America. And this is what we did. What we did was, excuse me, let me take a look here. All right. We had a Treasury document. Can you see the Treasury document?
Yep, you're good.
All right. We did this back in 2016. This is all done 4 years ago. It says that other money recognized within the metes and bounds of the United States of America is hereby declared to be the silver certificate issued by the Office of the Treasury of the United States and its registrar. Okay? Hereinafter, silver certificate. So we were recognizing that, is that the silver certificate shall be recognized by the government of the United States of America as equal value of the continental dollar. Now, what we were doing is we're saying, okay, here, there's a couple of unions going back and forth here. One is not, we're trying to bring them together and get so they can work together. Not realizing at this time and putting together that they had severed the gold and silver standard, or the consideration from the contract between the United States and the United States of America, and it was severed by communists that created fake offices like U.S. Senate. No one here is obligated to follow a U.S. Senate or a Congress of the United, or I'm sorry, the U.S. Congress. Those offices don't exist in any constitution anywhere, folks. You can't find it. So, wherein both monies shall be interchangeable, and both monies recognizing the effect it has on both parties, and shall operate as separate and equal station. So we were creating two separate marketplaces. But here's the problem. The people, the inhabitants that thought they were born into that union in the United States were literally born into an offshore trust. Okay? And let me show you how that worked. Okay, so here's a definite distinction between the two areas, all right? The two different entities. And this is just on the Title 28, 1746, unsworn declarations under penalty of perjury. It has no relation to anything other than the fact that it does show under this particular title the differences. So this is if executed without the United States. And it says, I declare under the penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America. We're back to that again, right? That the foregoing is true and correct. Now, if executed within the United States, its territories, possessions, Commonwealth, I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. So it was, you see the difference between the two. This is if executed within the United States, and this is if executed without the United States. Now, all it was a corporate document that would, it was a contract between the states and the United States, which was in Manhattan Island. It's the only bank, the Bank of New York Mellon, or the Bank of New York, which was created under the Articles of Confederation in 1784. Okay. And if you put it together, you'll realize that people were born. It says, remember in the 14th Amendment, you're born under the jurisdiction of the United States. That would be the District of Columbia, I think. And then you have its territories, possessions, or commonwealths. So you're born into an offshore trust, is what's happening. It's called the Internal Revenue Trust. That's why they can't use your birth certificate as ID, because it shows where you were actually born. They can't transfer your person into the IRS trust. So that's what's happening here. All right. So, but it does show you here that there is a definite difference between the United States and the United States of America. And there was a contract there that was governed by gold and silver. And the Articles of Confederation was stuck in committee, because when the states weren't convened as the United States and Congress assembled, the committee took over and just stayed there. So basically the Confederacy, that timeline, separate timeline, was stuck in committee. That's all. It was sitting there for almost 240 years. It was still there. It just was sitting there. Okay. So since we showed, I think it was last week or the week before, where since this entity was never properly ratified and it was severed through the money contract, which would be here, meaning the gold and silver was outlawed. the contract was severed. It was all done. The people had abandoned it and followed the U.S. president, not the president of the United States, and basically in 1933 committed treason against their own union, per se, insurrection against their own union. So it's hilarious to sit and watch a U.S. Senate try to charge somebody with insurrection when they don't even exist in a constitution. They keep claiming they do, but they don't. They're not there. Prove it. They can't. So a U.S. Senate can't charge anybody with insurrection. It doesn't work because they're not even authorized to exist. There's a so-called Senate of the United States, but not a U.S. Senate. It doesn't exist. So you're watching a freaking show. The whole thing has been a show your whole life. It's a complete joke. And they've passed this off as if it is actually there. This is the actual silver certificate that was used. It's right here. Okay, so the natural area code system will be used for post roads and post addresses administered by the General Post Office of the Government of the United States of America for a repopulation of business purposes. Okay, so basically this particular union here, people can operate in that and completely be out of the jurisdiction of the IRS. They can operate in that jurisdiction right there, a marketplace that was established. It was, like I said, it was never a company. I mean, it was never a country or a nation, ever. Never existed. It's right in their constitution. It says it was to form a more perfect union, not nation or country. Okay, so we can use it as a marketplace because it's been abandoned for quite a while. Since, at least we know for sure, since April 5th, 1933, when they severed the contract and broke the union up. So Franklin D. Roosevelt committed insurrection against his own country. And he did that as a Moloch and Baphomet worshiper. How do I know that? Because it's all over the place now. When they thought, or when they think that they have, no fear of being persecuted or anything like that, they come out and start really showing you who they are. And that's going to be another show soon. We're going to go into that later on. Okay, so you have to realize, folks, that the patriot groups are way off on what's going on. Their ideas of how to fix it are out in left field. Okay, and here's another scam that's being perpetrated by Anna. Again, she's coming up. She just won't stop. It's another scam. All right. And Anna's trying to steal property and the identities of inhabitants under the seal of the United States. So look at this, folks. They're trying to create land recording system under the seal of the United States right here on the right. There's no such thing here. Nobody voted them in to do that. No, there's no social compact that creates this whole rigmarole. Nobody within the United States of America here, of which this seal has nothing to do with, by the way. It's a completely separate union. And so these two have nothing to do with this. This is a complete fake scam. It's a fake. Okay, so she's stealing property. She created her own little private deal. That's what's going on. And trying to get you to record your property with her scam, okay? With her BS. It's steal the property under the seal of the United States and further claims that the seal of the United States somehow relates to the United States of America. It's two completely separate unions. Okay, one was a country, actually, because it was given a country status to be able to handle influx of people and naturalization that were to be delivered over to the states of the Union under their naturalization laws. They also used it as a representative, okay, of the country, which was this right here. Well, dipshit figured it out, or figured this out, and then started trying to steal it ever since. So Anna started this website that's not in any way a public recording system and in no way related to the United States of America, based on the seal that is on the website itself. So she null and voids her own claims right here because these are completely fake. It's all fake. There's no relation between the both. Anna started, okay, so the so-called land recording site does not exist within the United States under the seal, under that seal. So believe it or not, it is a fake land recording website. So Anna is in fact causing a condition where people could lose their claim to their private property, thereby stealing the property itself. We don't know what she's doing with it after it gets their so-called recording. So the people will record something with this fake site, right? And then there's no telling what they do with it afterwards. If they make a completely separate one and then put their name on the seal or on the deed. We don't know what they're actually doing in the background. So you got to watch this, all right? Now, Anna is stealing identities by issuing these fake ID cards under a fake nationality called American State National. There's no such status within the United States under the seal, so it's a fake. It says we keep trying to tell our followers that about the Anna scams, but they do not look up anything or anything up. They do not research anything and follow Anna without question. So here's the fake ID cards. They've got the seal of the United States here, which does what? It doesn't put them within the jurisdiction of the United States of America because this seal and the United States of America are not associated in any way. So it's a fake. That's what makes it fake. Then they have somebody's been stealing our stuff because now they're saying publishing number and all this other horse shit. And now it says lifetime concealed weapons permit. We were issuing those a long time ago. Valid for all travel and identification purposes. Okay, so this seal and that name don't even relate. Okay, no such status. Okay, why are they fake? See, we show you why. We don't just say it's a fake. We're going to show you why it's fake. Okay, no such form of ID within the United States under that seal. No such ID exists. No address on the ID card. There's no address here. There's nothing. Okay. If you're going to have this seal, you got to have at least a freaking address within the USPS or even their postal department. You got to have something. But there's nothing. No, nothing. Would you trust this?
Absolutely not.
There's no way of getting a hold of the woman. This woman right here that's on this thing, there's no way of getting a hold of her.
How are you supposed to send her a message? You don't know where she is.
Mm-hmm. You can't even go visit her. This is a complete fake, folks. No way of putting anything on there. A thumbprint's not a seal, folks. It's just not a. It's not. There's nothing official about it. That doesn't work. She's not a queen. All right. It doesn't work that way. No such country known as the United States of America unincorporated. It would be hilarious if France named their country France unincorporated. It doesn't work that way. Fake state of California seal. That's not the seal of the state of California. Okay, so it's not a public document, it's a fake. Let me see if this is it here. Here's the seal of the state of California. Okay, and then they're going to come back. The state of California is it's a corporation. No, it's not. State of California is a state. And this is the Great Seal of the state of California. Okay, this is not a state of California seal. This is a fake. This is not a Rolex. It's a Rolux. Okay, somebody came out with a fake. Just the same as their America unincorporated.org. She likes to pull this because people hate corporations. So she's playing on that stupidity and puts an America unincorporated.org. It doesn't mean anything. It's all scam, folks. No such status as American state national within the United States under that seal. You get it? They don't have any such thing. If you're going to use the seal of something, you better have the authority to use or to create stuff. There's been no elections within that contract since 1933. No elections whatsoever between the United States and the United States of America. There's no one sitting in the Senate office, the Senate of the United States, the Congress of the United States. Nobody's sitting in those offices. You haven't had a president since 1933. Why? Because the money, the gold and silver, there was the contract that bound the United States of America and the United States was severed, and everybody followed with it and acted as if it was true. And that's exactly what they did. So the whole Federal Reserve purpose was to break the Union up so they could get a communist regime in. And they did. They broke up the Union by severing that contract, by removing the consideration away from the contract. So all they did is they replaced it with a fake money. Because all they had then was offer, acceptance, performance, but no consideration. It's really messed up what they did. And it's people like this, like Anna, are taking advantage of it. Instead of actually fixing their country, they're going in and they're creating these scams all the time. And then they want to call it donations. Okay, here it is. All donations are accepted in US dollars. They want to be very specific about that. Donors are able to access publishing services and credential cards through their state and county providers. Now, why is all donations are accepted in US dollars? Why is it donations and not actual public office fees, folks? Think about it. Public office fees, which they would be entitled to if it was real. Why is it in US dollars and not dollars of the United States or gold and silver certificates or anything like that? If you're going to use this seal, that's what you have to use. Otherwise, it's what? It's a fake. And you can't actually, this violates House Joint Resolution 192, as in claiming a certain currency, a specific currency. Okay? Now, we could go on, but this whole scam looks like it was planned by a scam artist just starting out in the scam world. It's true. It's so bad. This is so bad. It says anyone that would fall for this Anna scam is in need of a lot of help. They have been warned. Okay? Y'all have been warned. This is a big joke. Anybody that would accept this thing is ridiculous. And why you would have this seal on it, I have no idea. Right now, regardless of the truth, you've got 50,000, if not 500,000 federal employees that would be very upset about putting that seal on this bullshit card. Okay? Why she keeps using that seal, I have no idea. She has no authorization to do it. She can't prove that her rapist husband has any kind of royal claim to it. So think about it, okay? Think about this thinking for just a minute. You have that seal, which is the seal of the United States, that she's claiming to be a monarch over, that they have royal claim to it. So she's claiming to be a queen within the United States, when in that union would be considered insurrection on her part by claiming to be a monarch over the people when the people didn't vote in a monarch, and there has to be a vote to vote in a monarch. So in reality, she has no claim to that seal, but she's using it. Zero claim to it. She's not an elected official in any way, shape, or form. She's not an elected judge. So she claims to be a judge, but it's no elected judge. She sat in front of a seminar in Texas and claimed to be a Supreme Court justice in Alaska, and her name doesn't even show up there. She claimed it for 2.5 hours, and not one person says, "Do you have any credentials that show that you were actually on that in the Supreme Court and served on the Supreme Court of Alaska? And what cases did you hear?" Nobody said a word. Nobody even asked. So weird, right? Now, if they hate corporations so bad, why are they doing return refund policies and financial transaction policies and all this other kind of stuff? And why are they using Stripe? That's from Scotland. And wasn't she talking about, was it Scotland or Ireland that she was talking about the interlopers?
It was Scottish interloper.
The Scottish interloper. Isn't that where that Stripe's from?
Yeah. It's just another thing she has out of left field.
It's a joke. Okay, so it's a scam, folks. We're just letting you know. What she's doing is she's putting your property under this seal that she has no authority to use, which is what? Manhattan Island and the District of Columbia. So if your wide belief is that your person is under a corporation in the District of Columbia, then why would you record your property under the jurisdiction of the District of Columbia and then pay somebody to do it? That doesn't make any sense at all. When what we're doing is completely different. Okay. And the issues that they have is this. Okay. Now, why is all donations are accepted in US dollars? Why is that bad to put up there? The reason is because some of our people have to use US dollars because we're forced to. We have our own money, but they're not listening to House Joint Resolution 192. These people are voluntarily using it. You get it? That's the difference. We're being forced to use it. We want to use we want to use our own currency, continental dollars. We've gone through a 2 or 3 year court case over it in Utah, fighting to use the continental dollars. And the U.S. fake crap, okay, the fake Senate and House of Representatives and shit, those guys are ignoring their own policies. Okay? That's the difference. Because people will say, well, you guys take U.S. dollars. Well, yeah, we have to. We would love to take continental dollars. We've been trying to. How many cases do we got on that? Chris?
We 2 right now.
Yeah, and fighting tooth and nail to get the continental dollar recognized there and taken when they have no right to refuse it. Period. Zero. But here, oh no, we'll take it. We'll take U.S. dollars. That's it. It's only accepted in U.S. dollars. You can't. That's a violation of their policies. You can't demand a certain currency. But, however, we've been trying to use continentals, and we're continuing to use continentals as much as we can within that system, and still going through the battles over and over again. Okay? So just letting you know, that's the difference. All right, folks, this is just the last thing, just for people that do not know, all right, what's going on as far as their seal, the United States seal, right here. Okay, so this is the actual, that's the same seal right there. So I just wanted to bring that up, that it is this, we're not just claiming something that doesn't exist. That's the actual seal right there. So they're using this, and folks, man, run from this, please. Okay, the last guy that tried some crap like this, he was in Montana. He got 10 years in jail for filing false deeds. Do you know how bad it is to do that? Especially in the counties. You don't have one deed in the county registered or recorded under the the United States seal. They don't do that. It has to be by the state or the county seal, if any. But normally they don't put any seals on them at all. They just said it's been recorded in so and so county recorder. Okay, you don't. This is not. You don't do this. And there's no like a land recording unless it deals with land patents. Which, by the way, BLM's land patents are all illegal. And the reason why their land patents are illegal is because they're all landlocked. There's no seaward boundaries in any of their claims. That's why our claims kind of trump theirs. That's why they don't like it. You don't see anything like that. This is really bad, folks. Don't do this. You do this, you're going to be transferring property right under their seals. And that's being controlled by a fake Congress right now and a fake, well, the Communist Party has been controlled like that since 33, since they severed the Union. Now, we brought the Union back, but we got to get it, populated with businesses and things like that, because it is essentially a marketplace within the United States of America. So we still have to put two of those things together before we can start operating like that in that market. So just fair warning. Okay? This right here that you're seeing on the screen, that's a complete scam. You've been warned, don't mess with it. Just telling you. So thanks for listening to the 215th broadcast of the T-ROH Show. We're trying to help you get this and understand this. If any of the military that are not, okay, and I repeat, that did not stab their commander in chief in the back and did not agree with it, we will work with you, because the union, your union in that marketplace has been put back together, and we will work with you to show you how to get it repopulated and all that. Okay. As far as a union is concerned, you still can't get a nationality over there. You'll be considered contractors, basically. Proprietors is what they call them within that union. If you still want to believe that you still want to believe there's a citizenship there, go ahead. I don't care. But I mean, they did. I don't know how they did that. They put a union together, right, and then tried to say, well, you can be a citizen of the United States. I don't see how that. I don't get that, but okay, whatever. Still doesn't make any sense to me. When you're trying to create a more perfect union, okay, whatever. I'm not going to. I'm not even going to try to figure that one out. I'm not even. That's the most messed up stuff I've ever heard. But whatever. We'll work with you as far as putting this together, and we can get you your so-called what you think is a republic. It's just an aristocratic republic, is all it is. But if that's what you want, then that's no problem. Okay, we'll help you do it, and we can use the marketplace to start getting manufacturing back and all that kind of thing. Okay, and get it out of the hands of these communists. So there you go. Thanks for listening to the 215th broadcast of T-ROH Show. We will see you next week.